Welcome. We're back. Pretty rough day for the stock market. While people are rolling in, I'll just talk about crypto for a few minutes, then we'll talk about stocks. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. Hope everybody's hanging in there. And yeah, Bitcoin pulled back today, bouncing up a little bit in the last hour, up like 1%. From a technical standpoint on Bitcoin, not too sure. This is kind of funky area. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but you know, it already broke out of this descending broadening wedge, put in a nice move, never even got up to 42k, and then started pulling back. Actually, this candle over here, I believe, yeah, this candle right over here pretty much happened right around the Powell speech, or yeah, I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been actually way earlier. Well, yeah, that would not work out because that's the 4 hours. So let me see. Yeah, that must have been in the morning, like early in the morning. So yeah, Bitcoin pulled back today. Eventually, hidden bullish divergence could occur as long as it makes a higher low than 35k. So you're just hoping for Bitcoin to hold above 35k, eventually pivot. A couple people in the Discord talking about this being a 3 rising valleys. As long as it holds 35k, yeah, this could be a 3 rising valleys. And there you go. You just saw it right now. It just changed right there with the bounce on Bitcoin. Oh, and now I'm back to red. So what you're looking for is that lighter red color to start appearing for this MACD to start waning on Bitcoin. Then you could get a 3 rising valleys with hidden bullish divergence. That would give you a pretty strong chance of finally breaking this resistance we've been talking about for a very long time. When we used to look at it as support, it's now a resistance because we're under it. So a lot of altcoins, they're up a little bit in the last hour, but they did have a rough day. FIL, this is one of the crypto trades I put out. I don't like how it came under the 200-day moving average, so I would like to see it get back above that. That's that for that one. I mean, it's up, 3% since the entry. Band I put out on Sunday. This one's up about 5% since the entry. Still looks completely fine. Obviously depends on Bitcoin. Tezos, it is down 2% since the entry. Also still looks completely fine. Give me 1 second here. Link, let's take a look. This one, not too much of a change from a technical standpoint on crypto. So let's just talk about stocks for now. Unfortunately, after a day that was already red, where the NASDAQ was down 0.25%, the S&P was down 0.5%, and the Russell was down 0.5%. We have red futures as well, and it's pretty red. It's not the end of the world, but NASDAQ futures are down 0.70%, and S&P futures, which is the chart we're currently looking at, are down 0.5%. The futures bounced off the lows. I just got so dizzy. Oh my gosh. I was just talking and my head just started like spinning. Hopefully I'm okay. I think I'm back to normal now. That was very strange. That never happened on stream before. I don't know. The day must have gotten to me. I just had dinner too, so very strange why that happened. I don't know if you saw it while I was talking. I just kind of like dazed out, but I think I'm good now. S&P futures. Let me put on my fan. Might just be a little bit hot in here. All right. S&P futures bouncing off the lows currently. Let's see how much. About 0.20% off lows, which is pretty good. But regardless, if we look at these technicals, it's not pretty good. So yeah, we're bouncing, in the last hour or so, but I think I did show this on stream last night on the S&P futures, this ascending broadening wedge. It broke that today, and it's been pretty rough ever since it broke that demand line. If you take a look at the NASDAQ futures, also just kind of falling under 13.9k, which was an all-time high back from February of this year. So the technicals are not looking so great for the overall market. Drink some water, drink some tea. I'll have some water. I always drink tea on stream. I'll have that later. Looking at the S&P 500, technicals don't look great. If we zoom into the 1 hour chart, you broke a demand line that you were holding all week. You broke that, I believe, right before the meeting today, and I shared that in the Discord. Pretty rough pullback since then it had a nice intraday bounce, and then it pulled back towards the close. If we go up to the 4 hour on the S&P 500, you have confirmed triple classic bearish divergence. Not good either. And on the daily, if you have a red day tomorrow, you're probably going to confirm your classic bearish divergence on the daily as well. So technicals are not looking good for the S&P. Pretty ugly candle here as well. I mean, you bearishly engulfed like 4 candles pretty much, or 3 candles because you didn't really engulf that one. But yeah, not looking too great. Even if we look at the NASDAQ, it's not even close to a double top because you'd have to go a lot lower and break that neckline, but you could clearly see that this 14,180 level on the NASDAQ has been used as resistance for 3 times now this year alone. Again, had a nice intraday bounce, but futures are down currently. So yeah, finally just looking at the Russell 2000. Looks fine to me. You're still above that breakout point as long as it holds above this demand line. I still think it's fine. I'll be watching this tomorrow. If it does test the demand line and it shows like some bullish technicals on low time frames, I might try to day trade it, but it just depends on how things look tomorrow, and I don't know yet. Moving forward, we can talk about the other parts of the market that I want to cover, the VIX. I've been sharing this on stream all week. This triple classic bullish divergence on the volatility index is now confirmed as of today. You were up 6% on the VIX at the close, well above that 16 level, which was the same level it was at before the COVID crash, and the same level that it pretty much had a very big move off of from mid-April to the beginning of May. So the technicals for the market are bearish for the short term. I don't think that can really be argued. There's just so many variables that are not looking good. Even if we look at the ARK ETF back under the 200-day moving average, you know, and by short term, I don't necessarily mean tomorrow or even Friday. I just mean for the next couple of weeks. As it looks right now, technicals are not looking great. It's also really hard to find good looking swing trades, hence why I've not really put out many. So it's just not the best scenario compared to what we had in like the middle of May when I was putting out all those trades. So many of them hit targets for 30%, 40%, 50% gains. Just we're not there anymore. And that could change. That could change tomorrow. We could have a huge bullish engulfing candle. We could be up 2%. You never know. But just looking at the probability right now, for the short term, the bears did take over control today after a pretty good run. You know, it was a very nice run the last few weeks. And we were just, you know, slowly going up on the S&P 500 with a decrease in volume. If you look at the SPY ETF, you were decreasing in volume. And then today, you had your highest volume since May 21st on the SPY, I believe. Looks like it. So yeah, you kind of got to this inflection point where obviously with the catalyst of the FOMC meeting, Jerome Powell talking, you had a sell-off, and based on technicals that can continue should the bears want it to. Another thing we got going on this week is quadruple witching. We're on Friday. We're gonna have a major expiration date for a whole bunch of different type of options. So that also leads to a lot of repositioning with big money, and just a lot of funny things that can occur when, you know, a lot of people who are in those June 18th Champion Vibes T. Whoever made a YouTube channel called that, you're awesome. Thank you for subscribing. But yeah, we'll see what happens with quadruple witching. You never know. A lot of funny things tend to happen around Thursday and Friday, just because there's going to be market makers wanting to have, you know, calls in the money, puts in the money, back and forth. They might want to have it at the what do they call it now? The maximum pain price or whatever, where there's like a certain strike price or just price level on a lot of stocks where if it's at that point on expiration, the highest amount of calls and puts will be out of the money, which is good for people who write those calls. So, you know, we're looking at that as well. Futures still down, no really bounce since I started streaming. Dow Jones was down as well today. This one's just been kind of rolling over for the past couple of weeks. Another interesting thing, the US 10-year, that classic bullish divergence as well playing out. Remember, before any of the FOMC meeting or Powell talking or whatever, we were looking at all of these bearish technicals for the last few weeks. Well, no, not the last few weeks, for the last few days. You know, pretty much since the end of last week, I've been talking about these bearish technicals across the market, and now with a negative catalyst or a perceived negative catalyst for right now, we're seeing them actually play out. So I always talk about it when the technicals and the fundamentals align, it tends to lead to the sharpest moves, and that's what we kind of got today. It wasn't a crazy red day. Most of the trades actually between premium and non-premium were actually up, which is really interesting. Yeah, most trades were up from the swings that I put out on the sheet, regardless of the red market. So it definitely does go by sector. I believe financials had a good day. Tech was down quite a bit at one point today, but it recovered towards the close. If we go look at the trade sheet, still a green week so far. I mean, I haven't really put out that many new trades, so most of these are just ongoing trades aside from like a couple crypto trades and this ALLO. But yeah, we do have some more red on the sheet that we've compared to how the last few weeks have looked. I mean, yeah, definitely a little bit of a different week, but still green for the trade somehow. I mean, Monday was a good day for the S&P, but Tuesday and Wednesday were not. So it's just all about timing. You know, right now it's just honestly not what the last few weeks were. We're getting this shift in the market. You know, obviously I hope it changes, and I hope we go back to, you know, to those super bullish days that we saw last week, the week before, and the week before that. But you have to trade what you get in the market. You can't just, you know, make the market do what you want. You can use probability to try and guess what the market will do next and capitalize off of that, but it's out of your control at the end of the day in terms of what's going to happen next. So just take it as it goes. We'll see what happens. You know, your main priority right now with this pullback should be to, you know, prioritize securing those gains that you've made in the past few weeks. If you've been in, you know, my trades or in your own growth trades or in your own, even the S&P has been going up. Like, most stocks have inclined over the last few weeks. So if you were, you know, making gains off of that, your main goal right now is to be keeping those gains, right? And then when we get those bullish trades appearing, we'll strike. But for right now, it's just a waiting game. You know, that was definitely a mistake I made, you know, back towards March, after we had a really good January and February. March is when a lot of the growth stocks that I was trading the most started really performing horribly, or really since the middle of February. And at first, you know, I was just so used to this part of it. It did take me a little bit longer than it should have to, you know, start realizing that. And lessons learned. You know, I'm not gonna try and force trades and stuff like that. I definitely did feel a couple months ago like pressure to force trades. I just don't have that anymore. If it takes me 3 weeks to put out another trade, that's just what it is. You gotta wait for those high quality setups. And that's something that I learned. That's something everybody needs to learn. And just wait, because good times always do come again. Historically, we should see all-time highs again on the S&P 500. Keep in mind, we saw all-time highs on Monday. We're literally not even 1% away from all-time highs. So as much as I'm showing you all these bearish technicals, this is not the end of the world. It's barely even a big move compared to how much we've just run up in the last few weeks. So just got to remain calm, trade what you get, and that's that for the overall market analysis. With the meeting today, we had an immediate drop, then we had a nice bounce, and then right before the close we also pulled back a little bit, and then after hours not so great for the S&P 500, for the NASDAQ, for futures, etc. Going into tomorrow, I'm very open-minded. You know, the phrase I've been saying for the past few days is like, it's all good until it's not, until we get that confirmed bearish divergence, which if we open like how the futures are indicating for right now, we probably will confirm that bearish divergence. So that just, you know, not really something I want to be trading when the S&P has classic bearish divergence, when the VIX has classic bullish divergence, when the NASDAQ rejected this 14.2K level 3 times. Like, those are not good signals based on how I trade. So, and I'm talking in the eyes of a swing trader. We could get a couple monster days, but until we clear out all these bearish indicators on the overall market, I'm just still going to continue to be kind of hands off. You know, day trading when it makes sense, but in terms of swing trades, I really haven't been in a lot of swing trades for the last, or I haven't been entering a lot of swing trades in the last, probably just like the last week. But yeah, moving on from the overall market talk, let's talk about some interesting stocks that a lot of people care about. We'll start off with Clover. And also, before I do that, make sure to hit that like button. We got 44 people in here, which is actually really good considering it was a red day and futures are down. So thank you for everybody showing up, but let's get some more likes on the stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll talk about Clover, then we're going to talk about Wish, then we'll talk about Clovis, CLVS, then we'll talk about the ongoing trades, which are only like 3 of them. And then after we do all that, I'll just do ticker requests for the rest of the stream. So let's see what's in the chat if I miss anything. Don't forget your tea, it's right here. It's just cooling down, I think. No, it's actually pretty cooled down. Max Payne, yep. Appreciate that, Thornbush. Down and play Call of Duty again this weekend, let me know. Keanu Trade says, I added more Fisker when you alerted at $10, been banking ever since. We'll look at Fisker in a couple minutes here. Glad to hear that. Oh my gosh. All right, so whoever Champion Vibes T is actually impersonating this T right here. Always forgets me on the table and lets me stay cold. Great. So what else we got here? Not too much else. All right, let's talk about Clover. I'm still in Clover. I'm still down on like my short-term trade. In the past like 2 weeks, I'm still hugely up on Clover because on the initial one, I made a very good amount. But I have been kind of, I'm not going to say like, you know, forcing myself to be in Clover, but I thought it looked pretty decent over here with this little consolidation. Ended up not doing too well today. I did reposition my Clover. I went out to further out calls. I still have some calls on Clover. I'm still planning on holding them. But of course, you got to remember, my position size is not like something that will wreck me if it just completely fails and they lose all their value. But I still am in Clover. In terms of what happened today, had a bad start to the day. Really was bad for most of the day until around like, I think like 2:30ish. Like this candle right here, it had like a, we'll see from the lows. It had like a 4% bounce intraday. It was up a little bit after hours. The low time frames do look pretty good on Clover. You know, there is really good looking 1 hour hidden bullish divergence still developing. It's been developing like this whole week, and then yesterday when it was red, we had, you know, non-development of that. But there's still, I'm gonna say there's probably a 90% chance that this does play out within the next few days to a week, because all you need to do is make a higher low than $7, and I do think Clover will pivot again before seeing $7. I wish that we were showing these good low time frame technicals after filling the gap, because at this point, like, it's not really a breakaway gap if we're only $1 above the gap fill. So it's like that $12 gap is still lingering, which is like, that's the issue, I guess. Obviously on the higher time frames, you don't have any divergence or any pattern. This is not, why did I not put out a swing on trade? I mean, why did I not put out a swing trade on CLOV? Because when you're swing trading, you use the 4 hour and the daily, and on this chart, there's nothing to talk about on the 4 hour and the daily, right? So no bias towards this just because I'm day trading options on it. There's no good or bad technicals on the daily and 4 hour. The good technicals are on the 1 hour, but then those are also kind of contradicted by that lingering gap fill. So really what it comes down to with Clover is like, I've been day trading it for probably like, really I started day trading it like right over here. So pretty much this whole entire month I've been day trading Clover. It worked good for like 2 weeks. This week it's not worked so well. But we'll see how the week closes out. Obviously there's an insane amount of options activity for the expiration this Friday with quadruple witching. You never know. And yeah, I think Rooster actually shared this earlier, this potential bullish butterfly on the 30-minute chart. And it perfectly lines up with the gap fill, the 2618 PCZ from B to D, also pretty much the 1618 from X to D. So at the gap fill, if it does decide to fill the gap whenever, you also have a bullish butterfly on low time frames. And you do actually have classic bullish divergence on the 30-minute. But again, you know, if we have a red open tomorrow, you never know what will happen. But yeah, I wish we do have a rad open. I've never used that word before. I just said accidentally. Let's get some rads in the chat. R-A-D. Cup and handle on Fisker. We'll look at Fisker in a couple minutes. I'll just look at it really quickly. I don't think so, because you're probably looking at this as the start of the cup, but this doesn't really look like a swing high to me. The swing high looks like up here to me, so it's not even a completed cup yet. Long rad, long T. So let's move on to Wish. We'll talk about that next. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 30 likes. Long T. Got some T's in the chat. I really only started drinking tea at night like a month ago. I don't know. It's like this new thing, I guess. We should get a tea emoji. I also need to get custom emojis on my YouTube channel. All right, what else we got in the chat? Yeah, we're gonna look at Wish right now. I think that's pretty much it. So, Wish, only down 1% today. We talked about it last night as well. I talked about how important it is to kind of try and hold above this $11 level. It's still pretty much there. I would not say that it's really breached it. Of course, you had a, you know, you spent the majority of the day under that level, but you were still holding that demand line of this low time frame cup and handle, or semi cup and handle. At this point, I would just disregard the cup and just look at it as a downsloping channel, because I think it broke the 50% retrace. Yeah, it broke the 50% retrace, so it's not really a cup and handle anymore. Pretty too steep of a handle to be a cup and handle. But even again, you don't need that. If you just look at it like this, you're still within this downsloping channel. So we'll see what happens. You definitely want to try and close it back above that 1109 tomorrow, candle low for May 11th. Still, the story kind of is the same. If you can just hold above 1109 on daily closes, which you were right there today in a red day. Your next resistance is 12. Any real like daily closes above 12 can really be good for this, because that's like that next important level. You break 12 and then look how little resistance you have to like 1450. That's really all there is to be done in terms of technicals on this one. You know, just a lot of people ask me about it on Twitter and stuff, so I just like going over it on the stream so I could just send them the link, because everybody wants to talk about this one right now. I've been in and out of it a couple of times, made some profit on it yesterday. I wasn't in it today. Next one is CLVS. This is well, this was a premium trade. I think I deleted all the chart. It was a really good premium trade. I think it hit the target last week, yeah, like on Tuesday, when a lot of highly shorted stocks were kind of pumping. Today it actually put in pretty much a bullish hammer candle, bullish pin bar, whatever, and it closed above the 200-day moving average for the first time since I think this is last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. It might be it's from last week. First time this week that it closed above that level. So yeah, it was up another 5% after hours. Let me see what it went to. This is going to be on my watch list tomorrow morning. I'm going to be eyeing it for a potential day trade as well, alongside I'm looking at the Russell tomorrow, Clover again, CLVS, and Wish, all for potential day trades tomorrow. So I'm also just bringing them up on stream. It was up to 624 after hours, so it's all the way back up over here. And really, if it can get above 642 again, that's the resistance. If it breaks that, there's not much resistance till 720. Highly shorted stock, easy to squeeze it. Still making higher lows. Not bad, as long as it can hold that 200-day moving average tomorrow. So that is Wish, CLOV, and CLVS. We'll talk about Fisker now. Pretty good day. It was up 4%. You do have hidden bullish divergence on the 1-hour chart. You probably could call this a bull flag with hidden bullish divergence, so not a bad 1-hour setup, but again, just keep in mind with most of the stocks I'm talking about tonight, futures are down quite a bit, so most stocks already have now I'm not going to say a bearish bias going into tomorrow, but they already have selling pressure going into tomorrow, like most stocks do. That's what happens when the S&P is down 0.5% and the NASDAQ is down 0.70%, or the futures for them are down that much. And of course, it can recover overnight. I hope it does, but you never know, so just looking at things as they are right now. And that's kind of the weird thing about streaming, where it's like things change so quickly in the markets that like one day you look at a stock like super bullish, the next day it's like super bearish. Like, again, just gotta take it day by day. Fisker also closed back above that 1737 level. Not bad on low time frames, but again, on high time frames, just like Clover, I don't really see the type of setup that I like for swing trades. You know, I liked it down here for a swing trade, which is what Keanu was talking about earlier. And that obviously hit both targets last week. So at this point, you know, I'm not too sure. Why does it say 4? Okay, 8 just came in right there. I think it should pop up on the stream in a second. I'll just wait for it to pop up. But yeah, that's really it for Fisker. Low time frame looks fine, but again, just keep in mind the market can obviously overweigh that. Anything above the 200-day moving average is still bullish. It's still obviously in an uptrend, making higher lows. Just, I don't see the same reward to risk at these levels that I did down there. I don't know why the tip's not popping up on the stream. It should, but we'll just move on. All right, if it doesn't pop up in like a minute, I'll read out the message. Thank you. All right, there we go. Jay, thank you for the $5. Respect to the man that introduced me to the legend, Henrik Fisker. Haven't really gotten that message before, but yeah, I don't even know if I say you're welcome. You know, I don't, you know, a lot, obviously, because Fisker is like kind of how a lot of this really started, and me streaming and me, you know, putting out tweets and stuff. Like, Fisker is amazing. I love the company, and it's definitely the testimonial that I get the most. You know, thanks for everything with Fisker, and just messages like that. I get them literally every single day to this day, dating back to that October trade. So it's like, it's always super cool to have like literally the day ones, you know, still supporting me and just, you know, sending kind messages like that. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the vibes in the chat. ALLO, this is the only new swing I put out this week. It's actually up 2%. Classic bullish divergence playing out, still above the $25 ice line. This still looks amazing in my opinion. Even starting to look like an inverse head and shoulders on low time frames. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is still one of my favorite charts, regardless of if regardless of whether or not it plays out. I can't talk. I don't even know how to stream at this point. But yeah, still above that, still looks fine. PSTH was flat today, nothing changed since last night. You're continuing to develop the classic bullish divergence, but you want to get back above 2350. LVS was also flat today. At this point, triple classic bullish divergence is developing. You just gotta hope for that to play out, but you never know. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the recap of today. Anything else? The dollar had a big spike today during the meeting, about to test the 200-day moving average. Still under the $91 level though. So yeah, let's do a poll. All right, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 30 likes right now. Let's do a poll. I'm gonna just try and make it a simple one. All right, look at the chat. I'm dropping a poll in. Answer that poll. I want to know how everybody else is feeling about the market with everything from the Fed today, with all the technicals, with just everything that's been going on. The poll should appear any second in the chat. It just says, are you bullish on the market? And yeah, while everybody's answering that poll, I'll just do another look at futures. Let's see. Futures still bouncing up a little bit on the S&P, on the NASDAQ as well. So a little bit of a bounce overnight right now. Bullish means you think it'll go up. So if you think the market will go up, put yes. If you think the market will go down, put no. And yeah, that really recaps everything I wanted to talk about today. I'm honestly pretty excited for both tomorrow and Friday because I think it's going to be a pretty good day trading environment to either side. I just think we saw increasing volume on the SPY today for the first time in a while. So I'm excited to day trade the rest of the week, especially with quadruple witching. Whether I'm doing puts or calls, 95% of the time if I trade options, I just do calls, but could be some good put setups for tomorrow. And that's really it for the coverage from tonight. Champion Vibes T says, I think the market will get as cold as me, even though everyone wants a hot market and hot tea. Thank you for the input. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be, I'm gonna be scalping, I'm gonna be day trading. I'm probably gonna try and, I say this every single night, but I might try and wake up early tomorrow to actually do some pre-market scanning. I don't remember the last time I've ever done that, so it's probably not gonna happen, but that's my hope. And yeah, that recaps everything I want to talk about today. We're just gonna do take requests for the rest of the stream. So if you want me to take a look at a ticker, drop it in the chat. John Menster says CLOV has a revisit to 20 plus coming soon. I hope so. I'm in options, so I hope so. I can't say that I know it will, but I hope it does. That would be great. But at the same time, like, even though I am in calls on Clover, I'm fully, it's very weird, you know. It's because like it's already, oh my gosh, all right, good. It's already been a great trade for me for the past few weeks, that like even if the current calls I have in Clover don't work out, I'm still way up in net profit. So I'm just kind of, I guess, YOLOing the calls, but not YOLO in the sense of like, you know, my whole account's in it. It's just like, for me with those Clover calls, it's like either I lose all the amount of the options next Friday, or I'll try and walk away with some profits if it has a nice pivot. That's just kind of how I'm looking at it. So PENN, and the poll I think is a 50-50. Wow. So 20 votes and we have a 50-50 on the poll. That means 10 and 10. Which field do you want me to look at? PHIL. Is it PHI group? I think it's that one, so I'm just gonna look at that one. But let me know if it's not. Cheddar Free says, so many tickers from the stream yesterday performed so well today as well in the analyst ideas. Yeah, everybody's been crushing it in the analyst ideas in the Discord lately. Appreciate all the help from all the technical analysts in the Discord. All right, we'll start off with Dogecoin. Let's look at another Dogecoin chart. Crypto Doge. It probably, I mean, it does depend on Bitcoin in my opinion. If we zoom into lower time frames, it's in this pretty much like a triangle, 3 touches on the bottom, 2 on the top. So it's pretty much in a triangle. Also on the 1 hour, it's trying to double bottom, as you can see. First bottom, second bottom. On the 4 hour, it's also trying to double bottom. First bottom, second bottom. Eventually hidden bullish divergence is possible if the MACD goes back to green. It did make a higher low with a lower level of negative momentum. You might be asking, why do you have the recent Doge charted? Why did you just chart this like it looks like today? Because I did. Because I got some Dogecoin today. I'm not even joking. Like 2 hours ago, I got some Dogecoin just because of this setup. That doesn't mean you should get Dogecoin. I have a stop loss. It's a pretty small position. But I was just looking at Dogecoin and I think it looks pretty interesting above 28 cents, you know? It had that PCZ of the Gartley. It's still trying to make those higher lows. Like I talked about with Bitcoin earlier, even if it does dip down to retest the breakout of this wedge, I do think there's a good chance it eventually pivots and makes hidden bullish divergence and hopefully turns into it through rising values. So I am very, very slowly scaling into some cryptos right now. Yeah, I have been for this week. For the last few days, I have been slowly scaling into altcoins. Again, if all this gets invalidated and Bitcoin turns bearish, you just always sell, you know? So just some disclosure there. Moving on to the other request, PENN. It's just in between, it's in a channel between, you know, 75 and 85. Whichever way it breaks out will probably be telling. It did break a supply line, but it's still just chopping in between 85 and 75. You know, the 200-day moving average is up there as well. Now hitting bearish divergence. It has a strong potential on the daily, where it made a lower high on price with a higher high on the MACD. Not too good. You really want to hold 75 and close daily candles above that, which you have for now. CCIV, looks like it fell back under that $24 level and it closed like right at it today. You want to reclaim 24.14 on daily candle closes. No bearish divergence. I don't see much of a pattern here. Also, if you go over to the 1 hour chart, it is breaking it did break a supply line today from the last few days of a pullback. So you just want to close over 24.14 on CCIV tomorrow. UWMC, another day it closes above the 200-day moving average. Every day it does this is good. There still is a gap over here, but there's the upside gap actually got filled today. So there still is a gap to the downside at 934-ish. But look, like pretty much ever since it broke it, it's closed every single day above the 200-day moving average, which is a good thing. It's just in this weird area where it's like it could go and fill the gap before running higher. It still is under 990, which used to be support from when it was a SPAC. You know, it's a little bit confusing, but I'm just eyeing that 200-day moving average, and that's fine for right now. It was flat today. BNGO. Kind of looks like a bull flag as well on the 4 hour. You know, something like this. Maybe like a little bit of a wedge. Potential hidden bullish divergence, but needs some work. There is also a gap fill on this one. Did it get filled? Never mind, the gap did get filled. It looks fine to me. I'd say you probably just want to hold over that level right there, around 730. Pretty much your highs from the beginning of the year, kind of your lows over here. It was your high on this day, and it's like your 3 or 2 days support. Yeah, it's like your 2 day support. So 730 is the important level there, in my opinion. PHIL, you know, this goes for most OTCs. It's just, I don't trade them because it's a lot harder to do technical analysis on OTCs. So I don't really know. I don't see a pattern here. I don't see divergence. And I don't know anything about whatever this is. So I can't really help you out too much. I mean, It's above this 0.007 support back from 2018, but it's under this 1 cent support from 2017. So it's just kind of in between those. Not really something I can chart. Down 9% today. It's been going crazy since May 20, pretty much since May 20th. You know, this asset just I mean, it just went up like 350% in under a month. Like, that's a pretty good move in my opinion for whatever this is. And also, I have no idea what this was, but I don't like trading things that do that. Just personally, it comes down to your risk tolerance at the end of the day. So I'm not criticizing or anything, I'm just stating my personal preference. Airbnb, I think it looks fine. Bounced at the PCZ of a bullish Gartley. It's making higher highs and higher lows right now. Could be well on the way back up to 180. You know, there's not a lot of data on this chart because it just IPO'd. That's kind of really it. You know, I like the high, as long as it can make a higher low than 141, it looks fine to me, even if it does pull back tomorrow or the day after. One thing I would say is be careful with this classic bearish divergence developing on the 4-hour MACD. ROST, classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart is confirmed. Looks like 117 is the support level. It was actually your highs from November 9th, or yeah, November 9th of last year. Even it was your highs all the way back over here. December 2nd of 2019. So you just want to hold above 117.69. Wow, this is also a bullish bat. So pretty strong argument on this one. ROST, this is ROST. Wow. All right, this one's the best chart I've seen tonight so far. On the daily, you even have hidden bullish divergence developing. Nice, very good looking chart. Again, doesn't mean it's going to go up for sure. It just has a pretty good probability if it can hold that support. And it's really easy to manage your risk as well. So very, very strong technicals. And just especially for risk management, you know, you could just look at it like this. Like, look how tight of a stop loss you can have. You can have a 1% stop loss. And again, it might get screwed over because of futures being down quite a bit. And that might lead to a red open tomorrow. But imagine that the market was just in a normal condition. That would be the easiest trade ever. You know, even if it didn't work out, you're risking 1%, 1.5% just to put your stop loss under the support that has held the whole entire month. It hasn't broken this a whole entire month. So in terms of like targeting, you'd even get 3 reward to risk targeting this 124 resistance from over here. You could probably get a second target at that previous high, right over there. Just gives you a 5 reward to risk. I'm gonna keep this on my watch list. Nice chart. And this was requested by Friggin' Cards. Of course it was. Good job. IVR. Got to get back above 414. Close the daily candle above that. It used to be your support. I mean, it used to be your resistance. You tried to hold it as your support last week, but you ended up breaking it yesterday. It was up a couple percent today, but it just confirmed it as resistance. You know, it tested it and it pulled back. So you really want to get back above that 414 level on IVR. Canoe, there's been, you know, talks about Wall Street Bets trying their hand on this one. We'll see how that goes. That obviously overrides technicals. Certainly a rounding bottom on this chart. Resistance is the 200-day moving average. If you break that, next resistance is 1479. Pulled back today, down 8% with the market. That's really all I see there. BlackBerry, I think it's bearish under 1370. It has to reclaim that 1370 level for me to be bullish. It held it for the whole entire month up until today. Well, it kind of had a fake out yesterday, but today it really did break that. So you'd want it to get back above 1370 for sure, in my opinion. I mean, even on the daily, you don't have bearish divergence, but your MACD went back down to red. It could be turning into a falling wedge, so if it ever breaks this supply line, that could change things. Even on the 1 hour chart does look pretty good. Classic bullish divergence, pretty much a falling wedge. I mean, 1 hour chart's pretty nice as long as it holds that demand line. So you could, this could be a day trade. I'm just not too sure about a swing trade, until it reclaims 1370. CHWY is the next one. I like that it's back above 75. Yeah, it's very, very good. It's back above that level. For now, the potential hidden... Actually, no, it wouldn't be. You made a lower high on price and the MACD, so never disregard that. Could be kind of like a cup and handle. On the 4 hour, this is your cup over here, and this is currently your handle. You just got to hold above 75.45. It's up 4% today. Costco just consolidating right now. Kind of like an ascending triangle. That's not bad. But it's right at that demand line because of the market, probably. Something like that. So it closed right at the demand line. You definitely want to close higher than 379 tomorrow. So hopefully it does that. If it does, I mean, this is a bullish pattern, but again, you got to think about the overall market. That's really it for Costco. CRBP. $179 is your closest support. It's support all the way back from August of 2015. This kind of also does look like a cup and handle. Above the 200-day moving average, which is good. I'd say the breakout would be like 230. That's CRBP. Hidden bullish divergence is also possible on the 4 hour if it has a MACD crossover to green. TMHC, I don't like the close under the 200-day moving average on this one. There is no divergence on the daily. Oh, it broke the 200-day moving average and a demand line, dating back to November of last year. Not looking great on this one. Pretty much breaking out of an upsloping channel that's been in since last October. As of today, yeah, that's pretty rough. Your closest support isn't too far under you. It's $26. Was your resistance back in August of last year. Kind of your support in February and March of this year. Yeah, not the best. I'm talking like midterm. Short term, it's in a downtrend. It could start showing bullish technicals on low time frames. Anything can happen with the market, but and also long term, it still isn't an uptrend making high lows. It's just like midterm, it doesn't look good, if that makes sense. Short term, it's 50-50, and then long term is still as good, but midterm is not that good with this breakout to the downside. You're just hoping to hold 26. Based on the chart, XPEV, wow, look how straight this went up. I mean, there was there was only 3 red days in 25 days. Wow. So 22 out of 25 days it went up, had a green day. You don't see that too often with stocks. So that's crazy. Starting to lose some steam over here alongside the market. I guess anything above 37 is still bullish. That's just very, very crazy. That's really it for this one. You just want to hold 37.50. That was your previous resistance at the end of March. Next one is NTEC. 334 is your support. You're above it. What you want to do is get over the 200-day moving average before falling under 334. That's really your goal. That's all I can really do on this one. That's really it. Also, where did I miss it? TMHC. Let me just look at that one more time, because I know, so you're saying divergence on 4-hour and 1-day chart. On the daily, you need that MACD to start waning back towards green. So I wouldn't call it divergence for right now on the daily. On the 4-hour, it was developing. It had a red day today, so it's no longer developing. Probably a pretty decent probability that it eventually confirms. I'll agree with that. And then in terms of the bullish shark, I'm not sure where you're anchoring it from, but this looks like the previous swing low to me. And that just does not look like a bullish shark to me either. If anything, it would be pretty much a bullish Gartley, but just send me a picture or just at me in the Discord with the picture of how you're viewing the shark. But I look at this more like a Gartley, which it is at the PCZ of. It's just this channel is very, very real, you know? You had 1, 2, 3 touches on the bottom. You had 1, 2, 3 touches on the top. That is a confirmed technical channel. And this is a confirmed breakout, not only of the channel, but the 200-day moving average. So it really just comes down to like, conflicting variables. Like if the harmonics play out at this level, it could usher in, classic bullish divergence on the daily if the MACD starts waning, but that's all pretty speculative right now. I get the bull case on this one, but I also see a very clear bear case on this one for the midterm. So I'd probably just wait for more data personally. That's just how I'd look at it. Resistance would be 28.51 from this high and this high. So that's just probably how I'd look at it. What else are you saying? Charting at midday and the MACD was light, right? Yeah, that happens quite a bit. The MACDs will move over with the price action. I definitely understand that. The meeting as well probably was a good cause, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Got to look at both sides of it, because anything, it could go either way, but a lot of variables that are interesting, so it's kind of like an educational chart to look at for sure. And I think we did look at, yeah, all right. I will look at Intel first. I am currently in Intel. I am currently down a little bit. I'm down like, I'm in on options, but I'm only down like 6%, which is really nothing for options. It's this 4-hour classic bearish divergence, which is my biggest concern. I really want this to underperform. On the 1 hour, it did put in a bullish pin bar candle. Doesn't look as good as it looked like 2 days ago. It looked a lot better 2 days ago. The market kind of messed with how I was perceiving this. And I was looking at it like this, pretty much, an ascending triangle. And it broke out, and then the market pulled back. And then it's just kind of like, wow. So I still think it's fine above 56. I will continue to stay in it as long as it's above 56. That's a very historical area. So I'm hoping for is just like, this bearish divergence underperforms, it pivots above 56, makes a higher low, then has like 1 hour hidden bullish divergence play out. That's just kind of what I'm hoping for, but definitely the technicals did get worse over the course of this week. We're now even like on the daily, you have to worry about potential hidden bearish divergence. If that goes over, like I really, if this, can't hold 56 tomorrow, I'll get out. Just the technicals, like I've said before, technicals can change within a day. They literally changed within a day on this one. Alongside the catalyst of the overall market. Amazon had a green day today. I was talking about right over here, right when it broke out, and it's gone up for 3 out of the last 5 days, and the 2 days it was down, it was just pretty much like flat. So like these were just kind of like breaks. I still think it's on the way to 34.39 minimum. It's not that far under it. If it breaks that, you could probably retest all-time highs. I still like the higher lows, hidden bullish divergence. Amazon is still bullish to me, even if it does pull back in the next couple of days. The long term, the midterm are still bullish. So I still like Amazon at these levels. Snapchat. Looks like the market also messed with the technicals on this one. It was trying to break out of the inverse head and shoulders with terrible timing, and then boom, it pulls back. So now your support is 59 bucks. That was your low from last week. You want to hold that. If you don't hold that, then it turns, in my opinion, from bullish into bearish. So another one where you kind of potentially could have a technical switch if the market continues to fall. RGLS, I don't like the break of the 200-day moving average. You have hidden bearish divergence confirmed on the daily. Your support is 83 cents. That's a very historical area. It was your low in 2018, it was your resistance in 2019, and it was your low in the beginning of May. Could be headed down there very easily if the market continues to pull back as well. It just needs to start making higher highs and higher lows. Got to get a reversal, get back above the 200-day moving average, then maybe we could talk about it there. XOM continuing to do pretty well. It's about to test this level, pretty much the lows from December of 2018. It actually already did test it and kind of pulled back for a little bit. Maybe like a rising wedge at this point. I don't even really know. Something, yeah, I'd probably call it a rising wedge. 3 touches on the top, 2 on the bottom. So it is a confirmed rising wedge. But it isn't an uptrend. The trend is just so bullish, but like you are showing a little bit of exhaustion on the oscillators with this pattern at a resistance. Not the best technicals for like the short term, but the long term trend is still amazing. Microsoft pulled back a little bit today. Looks like it went up to the 886. So now could this be a bearish bat? Did it fill the gap? Look, I talked about this last night when we were talking about gap fills. You can clearly see that a gap fill acted as resistance right here, you know? And I just see this so often, right? This was your gap, you filled it, and for 3 days you've shown resistance at it. So, you know, so what I always talk about, looking for those gaps to be both support and resistance is something you should think of as a trader. Volkowski says it only, you know, he basically says that gaps only act as like supports resistance like 20% of the time from something I read. I don't know if he updated that, but that's just one of probably like literally the only thing I disagree with him on. But again, he's put in research. It just depends, you know. I talk about that all the time. But obviously all the other things I talk about on stream are from his work. I actually wouldn't probably say a bearish bat. If anything, it blew past the PCZ of a bearish Gartley. So it's just kind of in the middle. I'm not going to say in the middle of nowhere, but it's just in this upsloping channel still. So still overall bullish above 245. It's above that, but you could see a short-term pullback again. Depends on the market. BFLY, pretty interesting chart. Butterfly index. What is this index for, by the way? I don't know why I have so many lines on this chart. But yeah, I guess it is, you know, it's at the highest level it's been at since July of last year. We already looked at Fisk earlier. I'm not too sure about it for the short term. I still love the company long term, but I don't see any. I could see going either way in the short term. There's a bull flag on the 1 hour, but also on the 4 hour and the daily, there's no other technicals to really be looking at. So Fisker, I'm not too sure. I'm on the wrong ticker. Oh, Butterfly Network. This happened the last time somebody requested this. Yeah, cup and handle. Just gotta get above 15 bucks. That's it. You want to get above 15 before. I mean, you could also look at like an inverse head and shoulders as well with this left shoulder. You just gotta get above 15 on this. That's really it. You want to get above 15 before breaking under like 13. So you want to be above 15 before you going under 13, and you're right in the middle of the two. So you gotta hope for that.
I just like looked at this guy and he was like asleep.
LTHM. No clue on this one. like I said yesterday, you're hoping for a higher low, or at least like a bounce off this demand line, which would be a higher low. So you just want to stay above this green demand line. Other than that, I have no clue on this chart. It's just kind of been going straight down for the last week or so. That's really it for that one. TJX, this is your support for the last, pretty much for the whole entire month. Around like 60, you just want to hold above 64. Even your 200-day moving average is at 64. So your goal on TJX is to hold 64. That was your all-time high before the COVID crash, so it makes sense why it's finding support there. There's a gap fill at 71 bucks, but it's all about this area right over here holding. OCGN. This could be, you know, it could turn into a harmonic, could turn into a bullish butterfly. The bad news, however, is it would have to go quite a bit lower to do so. Oh, it looks like I already charted that. But it's not like at those levels yet. I'd probably say classic bullish divergence is developing if you ignore this little red island like that. And your support's like 535. That's where your candle closed, around where your candle closed on February 5th, and it was your lowest from April. You just want to hold above 535. I'm not too sure apart from that though. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm still a little bit dizzy. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know, I feel a little bit weird right now. I've just been feeling dizzy for like the last half an hour. I've just tried to kind of keep it under control, but I think I just need to go to bed. So sorry if I missed out on some tickers. I'll be live again tomorrow night. Thank you for coming up to the stream. Thank you for the 30 likes. Thank you for all the support. I hope you all do well tomorrow. And yeah, have a great night. All right. Sorry for ending early. I don't know, I just feel weird. It's just weird. I don't know how to explain it. I've been drinking this tea. I also finished most of my water. I just ate dinner. I had a lot of water today, actually. I worked out today as well. I don't know. I just kind of feel a little bit off right now. So I think I'm just gonna call it there. We got probably like an hour in or something. So yeah, thank you for watching the stream. Have a great night. I'll be live again tomorrow night. All right, peace out. You're saying wait. Answer my question. What you think about market crash? I have no clue. You know, I just trade day by day. I don't really care about predicting a market pump, a market crash. I'll just react to whatever does happen. That's just kind of how I look at it, you know. So yeah, thank you. Have a good one. Peace out.